December in Washington, D.C. is more than just cold. Icy winds sweep through the city's iconic avenues, and the air is thick with anticipation. The city, already bustling with political intrigue, now finds itself at the center of a diplomatic storm. As snow blankets the monuments and government buildings, inside, the stakes are rising higher than ever. It's tense with high-stakes diplomacy. Behind closed doors, the atmosphere is electric. Every word, every gesture could tip the balance. The world's eyes are on Washington, where global power dynamics are being shaped in real time. Indonesia's coordinating Economic Minister, Airlangga Hartarto, has arrived in the capital, carrying the hopes of his nation. His mission is clear but daunting: to rescue a landmark trade deal with the United States that now hangs by a thread. The pressure is immense, and the outcome will reverberate far beyond these walls. This agreement, once hailed as a breakthrough for both countries, now teeters on the brink of collapse. What was once a symbol of cooperation has become a battleground of competing interests and clashing priorities. The initial optimism from July 2024, when negotiators shook hands and declared progress, has faded. In its place are serious disagreements over tariffs, market access, and regulatory standards that threaten to unravel months of painstaking negotiations. Each side accuses the other of moving the goalposts, and trust is wearing thin. For Minister Hartarto, every meeting is a high-wire act. He must balance Indonesia's economic ambitions with the realities of American political pressure. The stakes are not just economic, they're deeply political, with both governments facing scrutiny at home. Minister Hartarto's visit signals the gravity of the situation. He's here to resolve fundamental differences, not minor details. The issues on the table are complex, ranging from digital trade to environmental standards, and neither side is willing to back down easily. The U.S. side, led by the trade representative, is visibly frustrated. American officials accuse Indonesia of backtracking on earlier commitments and warn that patience is running out. The tone is firm, and the message is clear. The U.S. expects results, not excuses. For Indonesia, the stakes are enormous. Failure could mean lost opportunities for growth and a setback in its efforts to become a major player in the global economy. The pressure on the delegation is palpable. The deal could boost exports, create jobs, and open new markets for Indonesian products. It's about more than just numbers. It's about the livelihoods of millions of Indonesians who depend on trade for their future. Success would mean new opportunities for Indonesian businesses, a surge in investor confidence, and a chance to elevate the country's global standing. It would be a signal to the world that Indonesia is ready to compete on the international stage. But the Trump administration's assertive trade policies have made the environment even tougher. With America's focus on protecting its own industries, every concession is hard-won, and every misstep could be costly. Outside the negotiation rooms, the world is watching closely. Business leaders, journalists, and even protesters gather, aware that the outcome could shift the balance of trade in the region. The pressure is not just diplomatic, it's public, and it's relentless. Navigating this landscape demands strategic diplomacy from Indonesia. Every move is calculated, every statement weighed for its impact. The delegation must anticipate American demands while holding firm to Indonesia's core interests. These talks are a test of Indonesia's ability to secure favorable terms with a powerful partner. It's a delicate dance, one that requires skill, patience, and a deep understanding of both countries' priorities. The outcome will shape not just Indonesia's economic future, but its place in global trade. A successful deal could open doors to new alliances and partnerships, while failure could isolate Indonesia at a critical moment. The world is watching as the fate of this deal hangs in the balance. In the coming days, decisions made in these rooms will echo across continents, affecting economies, industries, and lives. For Indonesia and for the global trading system, what happens in Washington this winter could change everything. At the heart of the deal lies a pivotal U.S. concession that could reshape Indonesia's economic future. For years, Indonesian exporters have faced steep barriers when trying to enter the lucrative American market, with tariffs that made their goods far more expensive than those from other countries. Now, the United States has agreed to a significant reduction in these tariffs, a move that could open new doors for countless Indonesian businesses. The agreement slashes tariffs on Indonesian goods from a punishing 32% down to 19%. This isn't just a minor adjustment, it's a dramatic shift that could save Indonesian exporters millions of dollars each year, making their products much more attractive to American buyers. With these lower tariffs, Indonesian products, ranging from textiles and furniture to electronics and food items, will finally be able to compete on a level playing field in the United States. Shoppers in America will see more "Made in Indonesia" labels on store shelves, and Indonesian brands will have a real chance to grow their presence overseas. Previously, high tariffs had stifled the ambitions of Indonesian exporters, leaving warehouses full of unsold goods and workers anxious about their future. Many small and medium-sized businesses struggled to survive, unable to break into the world's largest consumer market. Now, with tariffs lowered, Indonesian companies can offer more competitive prices, sparking greater demand from American importers. This is expected to lead to a surge in exports, increased production, and more jobs for Indonesian workers across the country. This breakthrough is a cornerstone of President Prabowo's economic strategy. By unlocking Indonesia's export potential, he aims to drive sustainable growth, attract foreign investment, and create new opportunities for millions of Indonesians. The government sees this deal as a direct path to economic growth and improved livelihoods for everyday Indonesians. More exports mean more income for families, stronger businesses, and a brighter future for the nation. That's why Minister Hartarto is working tirelessly in Washington, negotiating on behalf of Indonesia's workers and entrepreneurs, determined to secure a better deal and a stronger future for the country. The trade deal under discussion spans a remarkable array of Indonesian exports, highlighting the country's rich agricultural and manufacturing heritage. From the lush highlands where world-renowned coffee beans are cultivated, to the tropical plantations producing cacao for some of the finest chocolate, Indonesia's natural bounty is on full display. These products are not just staples at home, they're sought after in markets around the globe, especially in the United States, where demand for high-quality coffee and chocolate continues to grow. But the deal goes far beyond food. It also covers vibrant textiles, expertly crafted footwear, and beautifully designed furniture, industries that showcase Indonesia's creativity and skilled craftsmanship. These sectors employ millions and are vital to the country's economic growth. By lowering tariffs, the agreement could open new doors for Indonesian farmers and manufacturers, helping them compete more effectively in the massive U.S. market. This means more opportunities for smallholder farmers, factory workers, and entrepreneurs across the archipelago. Importantly, the focus isn't just on exporting raw materials. Indonesia is increasingly moving up the value chain, producing finished and semi-finished goods that support industrialization and create higher-paying jobs. The broader goal is to diversify Indonesia's economy, making it more resilient and less dependent on just a handful of commodities. By expanding into new sectors and markets, Indonesia hopes to secure a more stable and prosperous future. If successful, the deal could bring tangible benefits to people across the country, from the coffee farmers of Sumatra to the factory workers in Java, and everyone in between. Yet, amid all these products, one commodity stands out as especially significant in the negotiations: crude palm oil. This versatile oil is a cornerstone of Indonesia's export economy and a source of livelihood for millions. Ensuring palm oil's inclusion in the agreement is a top priority for Indonesian officials, who see it as essential for the country's economic ambitions and rural development. The outcome of these talks, especially regarding palm oil, could ultimately determine whether the deal succeeds or fails, shaping Indonesia's trade future for years to come. Crude palm oil is Indonesia's economic powerhouse, supporting millions and fueling growth. Securing U.S. market access for palm oil is Indonesia's top goal. While the U.S. is open to lowering tariffs on other goods, palm oil remains contentious. Environmental concerns and past criticism have made negotiations tough. Indonesia is pushing for significant tariff cuts or exemptions, promising sustainable production. A win here would be a strategic victory and a global endorsement of Indonesian palm oil. The outcome of this single issue could define the entire deal. The U.S. expects reciprocity. If Indonesian goods get easier access, so must American products. The U.S. wants Indonesia to buy more American energy, agriculture, and Boeing aircraft. These purchases are designed to support U.S. industries and jobs. But it's not just about buying goods. The U.S. demands Indonesia remove tariff and non-tariff barriers. American negotiators want a level playing field for their companies. Digital trade is another sticking point. The US wants free data flow and no localization requirements. For American tech firms, these rules are essential. The US sees these commitments as vital to any modern trade deal. Optimism has faded as major disagreements threaten the deal. The US insists on legally binding commitments. Indonesia wants some terms to be non-binding. This clash has created a crisis of confidence. Non-tariff barriers remain unresolved, with the US demanding their removal. Digital trade rules are another hurdle. Indonesia is wary of giving up control over its digital economy. These issues have stalled progress and made the path to agreement uncertain. Both sides face tough choices if they want a breakthrough. Last month, talks nearly collapsed over a US proposed poison pill clause. This would let the US void the deal if Indonesia signed certain trade pacts with others. Indonesia saw this as a threat to its sovereignty and flatly rejected it. Other countries have accepted similar clauses, but Indonesia stood firm. This episode underscored Jakarta's commitment to independent policy, even at the risk of losing the deal. The dispute was about more than trade. It was about national pride and autonomy. The tension between economic gain and sovereignty still shapes the negotiations. If the deal succeeds, Indonesia's economy could be transformed. Lower tariffs would boost exports, strengthen the rupiah, and fund vital infrastructure. Preferential access to the US would attract foreign investment and new factories. This would accelerate Indonesia's shift to a modern, industrialized economy. Millions of new jobs could be created, raising incomes and expanding the middle class. The agreement would also elevate Indonesia's global standing and diplomatic influence. It's more than policy. It's a path to prosperity for millions. The stakes are enormous for Indonesia's future. These negotiations are a turning point for Indonesia. The outcome will shape its economic future and its relationship with the US for years. The deal promises access to the vast American market and millions of new jobs. But serious disagreements over commitments and sovereignty threaten to derail it. Success would validate Indonesia's reforms and global ambitions. Failure would be a historic missed opportunity. The world is watching to see if Indonesia can balance economic interests with national principles. As talks continue, Indonesia's global aspirations hang in the balance.